What's going on, guys? Danny here from Metal Couch, and today I'm going to be talking about a track from the upcoming Septicfleshs album, Codex Omega, due out in September. The track I'm going to be discussing today is called Enemy of Truth. It is the third track that they have released in front of the release of their new album, and it is the first one that I've listened to since they've been unveiling tracks in anticipation of this album, and I tried my best to keep myself from listening to as much of this album as possible because I want to be as surprised as possible when putting this on come September. I couldn't resist listening to this track mostly because I saw how many people were talking about how great it was. I also noticed that this track was getting way more promotion compared to some of the previous tracks that had been released. And this track fits in at, I think, the fifth slot on the album. So it'll be the fifth track on the album overall. And wow. I'm kind of... I should have known what I was getting myself into. I really liked the tracks that they had put out before Titan was released. This one, on the other hand, is better than any of the tracks that they had put out in anticipation of Titan. I think that this might be one of the best Septicfleshs tracks that I have heard, probably since at least Communion. I really like The Great Mass. The Great Mass was a 10 out of 10 album for me. Titan was good. I don't think it was as good as The Great Mass. Communion was kind of a proto work to kind of establish what they were going to do in the 2010s. And then you have Sumerian Demons, which is hands down my favorite Septicfleshs album, and I could easily see or hear Enemy of Truth on the track listing to Sumerian Demons. One thing that I noticed right away, and it was a concern of mine going into listening to tracks from this album, is that I don't think that the mixing on Titan, at least on the CD and digital copies, is very good. The vinyl pressings and the vinyl rips that you can get of Titan are far superior when it comes to the mixing. Especially the CD version. The CD version is so compressed. The orchestras just kind of get drowned out by everything else. There's not enough room for everything to breathe. It's nice to hear that, at least with Enemy of Truth, that problem has been somewhat remedied. The orchestra feels more as an accompaniment to the mix. I mean, this track opens with an orchestral piece, and I'm glad to hear that some of that has been fixed. Now, whether or not that'll be present throughout the whole album, or if this isn't some kind of uber rip that they're doing from the masters, that remains to be seen. I won't be purchasing a CD copy of this, by the way, because of what happened with the Titan mix. I just went right with a vinyl pressing through prosthetic. No limited edition for me this time. Anyway, Enemy of Truth. This track, again, opens with a nice orchestral arrangement, kind of a bit of a flurry of strings, and then we get right into heavy guitars. This is, hands down, better guitar lines than anything on Titan. Like, immediately, just the blend of how the guitars and choirs work throughout this song is mind-blowing. You kind of get a good feel for this, like a little under the 2-minute mark, probably about the 1 minute and 50-second mark, is to me what sold me on this track and this album. Once it picks up from there, it is just an all-out audio assault, and their songwriting really shows on this track. It made me relieved, for lack of better word, to know, okay, alright, so this isn't just going to be a repeat of Titan, at least I don't think so. This is definitely something different. This is something in the vein of earlier works from Septicfleshs. Really, really happy to hear something like this coming out in advance of the album. And it was also my first time hearing their new drummer, which I think, I'm not sure how to pronounce his nickname, I think it might be Krim. You know, I'm sure somebody in the comment section will correct me on that. But this is the first time I've ever heard any of his work. I was completely surprised to hear that their old drummer had left the band. I'm not sure under what circumstances, but God, he was a fucking phenomenal drummer. Like, I've seen videos of him drum, and it's just insane what he's able to do. And this guy's able to replicate it and do it just as well, in my opinion. Great drummer. Other than that, like, it's just, I'm so glad to hear that the mixing problems have been resolved. At least I think so. And just to hear something like this come out in advance of the album. I mean, like, you think about some of the tracks that came out before Titan was released, like Order of Dracul or Prototype. I don't remember if there was a third one or not. The third one could have been Dogma. I'm not sure. But out of those 3 picks, this is easily like the Order of Dracul release. Order of Dracul was what sold me on Titan, and I think that was the first one they released, and that was a damn good track from Titan. Prototype, iffy. Dogma is probably the weakest of those 3, if that was the third track released before the album. But this really makes me want to go back and listen to the other 2 tracks that they had released, which I think was Dante's Inferno and Third Testament. So, really curious as to whether or not I should even listen to those or just wait on the album. But this track is phenomenal, outstanding. I can't give it higher praise. I'm not going to give a numerical grade on it because it's a piece of a work that I haven't listened to the full work. So this is definitely a track to listen to, and probably pay attention to what happens when this album gets released, because I feel like this is probably going to be a bigger hit for them than Titan was, maybe even Great Mass. I mean, Communion, when they came back together with Communion in 08, was it 08? Yeah, 2008. That right there was like, holy shit, this is a good album. Great Mass, for me at least, was like, holy shit, this is a better album. And then everybody on Metal Archives fucking hates Titan, so hopefully Codex Omega will remedy that. I think Titan's an alright album, but sure. This is enough of me gushing about this Septicflesh track. I think I got my point across with this and gushed about a few other things. Sorry for the tangents, but it's been a while since I've been able to talk about Septicflesh and have it be relevant to any form of conversation. So, thanks a lot for listening to me ramble about this Septicflesh track. If you liked this video, go ahead and hit the like button. If you want to leave a comment down below. I can't wait to see how many fat comments I get in the comment section below. Those are always great. Just listen to this fucking track, man, and I can't wait for this album. This is probably going to be album of the year, who knows? I mean, I haven't been listening to metal lately, so I have a lot to catch up on, so thanks a lot for watching, guys. Danny here from Metal Couch, signing out.